the Divas Dish podcast. I am Sheri Taylor, the afternoon drive diva of Magic 98.9, weekend diva Elyse Riley, my co-host with me. And now he is no longer the fourth man in the improv group. He is our guest diva. I have Greg Proops from Who's Live Anyway. You guys are coming to the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. Thank you so much for being generous with your time and so generous with the emails going back and forth when we're trying to coordinate this. We're so excited to have you.
My pleasure. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning. Oh, see, you've adopted. Even though you're from way out west, you got the y'all going on.
My mother's from Mississippi.
Oh, and you said it correctly. Say it again. Yeah. Mississippi. Y'all in Mississippi.
Oh, y'all.
Well, we are glad to have you here. You actually are hitting through the Carolinas. You're in Asheville tonight.
That's right.
You also are hitting Raleigh and Charlotte and Charleston. But most importantly, you're coming to Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium on the 29th. Tell us what we can expect from this show.
Well, there's laughter and tears and hugging, and then we go on stage. It's like Whose Line Is It Anyway on TV, except without that window of glass between you and us. So there's a lot more audience participation. We bring people out of the audience and sing to them. We bring people out of the audience and have them do sound effects with us. So basically the whole show is based on you guys. And everything we do is based on a suggestion the audience gives us. So if you don't like the show, it's pretty much your fault.
You should go home and think about what you did.
Right? Come back with better suggestions.
Exactly.
And so every show is different then. I mean, based on what the audience of that particular city wants. Every show is different.
Well, if that's what you've heard, then yes. No, we really do improvise. And we have Gary Anthony Williams with us this week because our Joel Murray is busy shooting a show in Atlanta. And so it'll keep us on our toes because Gary's awesome and we don't get to play with him that often. So we'll be at fever pitch as well.
Exactly.
With trying to listen to our new member. And Gary is also on Whose Line Is It Anyway on the CW with us. And also plays Uncle Ruckus on Boondocks and Malcolm in the Middle East. You've seen him in a million things. So it's fun for us to have someone new come out with us this week. New for us. I mean, mind you, Joel Murray is the newest member of the group, and he's been with us for 10 years. So this is the group. We change like a glacier changes.
Exactly. It's kind of like, well, okay, we'll try this new guy. So the new guy. So it's like you have a new toy to play with. So it's
right.
Like, wind him up.
He's going to throw things at us that we haven't heard, and so we'll be bouncing off each other in a different way. So we'll be having a lot of fun this week. And I personally love the South. So
we are so happy to have you. And Elyse, as we were doing our research, I'm like, you researched him. She goes, oh yeah. Whose Line Is It Anyway? I grew up watching it. I loved it. I loved it too. I've loved you ever since you were on the British version. So you were the original. You were on the original with Clive, and then it came over to America, and then they brought you on. Why were you the fourth man if they brought you over from the British?
Well, because Drew, the American version happened because Drew Carey got involved. And so Ryan was on Drew's show. And so, yeah, I did the British show for, 10 years. I think I started when I was about 11 or 12. Yeah. And then we got on ABC all that time ago. And now we've been on the CW with Aisha Tyler hosting for, oh, my goodness, this is our ninth season, somewhere in there. It's hard to keep track. Literally, it's been over 30 years since we started.
But how are you, if you're only 25, how is it 30 years?
Well, that's one of the conundrums that I think the audience really has to solve. The fact that I never seem to age, even though I'm incredibly immortal.
Perfect. Well, speaking of your immortality, around my first son was born in 2007, and he started watching cartoons on TV. I was doing something in the kitchen one day, and in my ear, I'm hearing something. I'm like, I thought he was watching a cartoon. I hear your voice coming out of the television, Mr. Bob the Builder.
Oh, yeah. I got to do that. It was a great gig. We did it for 5 years until they sold the company. And I loved it. We used to record in England. So my wife and I'd fly over, and we recorded in a hip studio in Soho in London. And we'd have takeout Chinese or curry for lunch. I love the gig. We knock off about 10, 20 shows in a day. And you know, Americans, people say to me, how come you don't record it in America and then send it? And I'd be like, they were sending me over. They would fly me over every time to record it. So I loved it. It was a great thing. And it's fun, you know. I've been on a lot of things for kids over the years. I was on True Jackson years ago on Nickelodeon with our Kiki Palmer, who's now a giant star, and I did Bob the Builder. So I try to keep the under fives happy.
Well, you do at my house. My son enjoyed Bob the Builder yesterday.
Well, thank you.
He's 18 months old, and so I said, well, we'll try it out.
When I got the job, I was auditioning in London, and I was doing all these funny cartoon voices, and they came over the PA, which they called the tannoy in London, and she said, I wonder, would you mind just using your own voice? And I said, are you insinuating that I have a funny cartoon voice? And so the voice that Bob the Builder is exactly my voice. People think I'm putting on some voice, but this is the voice of, well done, Cerise. You reduce, reuse, and recycle.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's like when someone says that to you, it's like someone saying, you have a perfect face for radio. You have the face for radio. So we hear that too. So that's when you want to slam people. You're like, that's not funny. It's not funny, but you know what? Your voice is amazing. And you know what? It got you a lot of free trips to England. It got you some work. It's getting you some work. You know, you're not hurting. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I was in Star Wars, the Phantom Menace, and all the subsequent video games. And then, gee whiz, there's a show called what was it called? The Resistance. That was an animated show that was on a couple years ago, and I did the same character then, but they changed the name. Let's see what else. Nightmare Before Christmas. I was in that picture some time ago, and we've been lucky enough to do it live. Danny Elfman, who's a famous composer. We do the show live. Well, this year we did it at a giant football stadium in Los Angeles, or last year rather. It was October, Halloween. We either do it at Christmas or Halloween, you see, because the controversy is whether Nightmare Halloween.
Right. It can be both.
Right. So we didn't get to do it during the plague year, but we've done it in London the year before in 2019, which is part of why the plague really clipped my wings. We did it in Tokyo, Glasgow, Dublin, London. So we were really going around the world with it at that point. And I get to sing with a symphony orchestra, which is, for someone who's not a singer, and I'm a comedian, basically, it's pretty exciting for me. It's as close to an opera as I'll ever get to be in.
I love that. I love that. And no pressure. It's like, well, I'm a comedian. I'm supposed to be a little funny if your pitch is a little
right. Well, I do all the monster voices, and we sing it with Danny sings Jack Skellington, and usually Catherine O'Hare is Sally. And she couldn't do it last year at Halloween because she was shooting a picture in London, and so we had Billie Eilish sing Sally. So it's really something else to be on stage, and Billie Eilish sang Sally, and Ken Page sings Oogie Boogie. And we had Pee-wee, Paul Rubens comes in and sings his part, and to stand in last year for Catherine as Lock, Shock, and Barrel, Weird Al came in. So it's a pretty wild affair.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and it is. You should look it up on YouTube if you want. It's a live version of Nightmare Before Christmas. Like I said, we don't really do it around the United States that much. We've done it in New York, and we've done it in LA, and then like I said, I'm hoping he takes us back to Tokyo. It's completely up to.
This is going to be broadcast. They're going to catch on to you that you're just doing it for the free trips. So they're going to catch on.
You know it. And when we were playing Tokyo, we were at rehearsal, and we were just getting down to the last number, the finale. And our conductor, John Marcheri, is his mentor was Leonard Bernstein, right? And he's an August man, John. We call him the maestro, of course, because he is a maestro. And John is exactly what you would think a conductor acts like. He'd say, Lenny. He calls Leonard Bernstein Lenny, which is, right? He goes,
You gotta have big ones to do that.
right? The wonderful thing about Lenny was he had such a marvelous sense of humor. And so we're always like, so we're rehearsing, and the place starts shaking, right? This is Tokyo in May 2019. And the place starts rocking back and forth. And I look up at the instruments, right? Because all I can think of is the lighting rig is going to fall on us, kill us, like Phantom of the Opera.
This is where I die.
Trapped under a chandelier, So I'm looking up at the rig, and the interpreter who's sitting behind John with her microphone, Elizabeth. John hasn't paying no attention whatsoever, by the way, to the earthquake. He's conducting. We're sawing away with him. The orchestra's sawing away. There's 150 people. The place starts shaking, and our interpreter looks at us, and we're all from California, and goes, earthquake, like that. And we're like, yeah, we can feel it, right? So we finish the rehearsal, and by the way, we have to stand up and sing right now, like it's the finale. So we all stand up and we go, la 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 la. We barely get through it, and we wrap. And I walk over and I say, Maestro, did you feel the earthquake? And he goes, what earthquake? And I was like, you talk about not concentration.
He was in his bubble, but he thought he was bringing it. He was just making people move.
Well, right? It was, and because it was Japan and they're so polite, no one said a word. Like in California, they might come up to you and go like, okay, the building's all right. We've called emergency service. In Tokyo. Didn't happen as far as they were concerned.
Everyday occurrence, whatever.
Right. And then someone said to us after, oh, don't worry, the place has been retrofitted. And I'm like, well, hooray. And then we did the show, maybe, I'm not kidding, like an hour and a half later. And the place
it's retrofitted so they can find your bodies easier.
They can identify me by the fez that I wear in the show.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then
you recognize his hair is sticking out the glasses. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, earthquake, hundreds perish, and improv comedian.
Maybe you've heard of him. Insert bad Bob the Builder joke here.
Right.
Yeah. So perfect. So I'm so excited because it's like you just went on your little one-man show here, and I love that. I love that. But you're going to have 3 other people on stage brought into the auditorium with you, but you're going to be bringing people from the auditorium up on stage. We're so excited. We're so excited. And of course, you're saying, everybody, bring your A game. You're going to be bringing people from the auditorium up on stage. We're so excited. We're so excited. And of course, you're saying, everybody, bring your A game. Bring your A game, because if you get put on stage,
right. You also might want to wear something nice because, if you're wearing your jams and you're up on stage, everybody's going to see you. We tend to wear, Jeff and I wear suits and ties. Ryan always wears a nice shirt or whatever. I don't know what Gary wears because I haven't played with him before, but I assume something tasteful like a peignoir with a single strand of pearls.
I was thinking a smoking jacket and a pipe.
Right? A dashiki, a caftan and slippers. We a burnous. We take it. We want to get a standing ovation every night. We play real hard. So you need to show up and focus. And there's lots of singing and goofing and slapstick, and we're clowns. So we'll clown up there.
I'm excited. My dog apparently is excited too.
Your dog's excited.
Can you hear her? She's like, I want to talk.
We're number 3 with canines as improv group goes. That's my understanding.
Well, I think Charlotte wanted to come. Her name is Charlotte Bell, but we call her Shar Shar Binks. So I think she wanted to come in and say, I'm kind of named for Star Wars too. But anyway,
Shar Shar Binks.
We call her. Her name is Charlotte Bell, but when she does something goofy, we call her Shar Shar Binks. And people's like, you're insulting your dog. I'm like, you've met my dog. I'm so sorry. That's so bad. But anyway,
no, it's not. I was in the Shar Shar Binks movie too.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. You were in that one. Elyse, do you have questions? I'm sorry. We just kind of took it.
No, I was having fun just listening. I've been watching Whose Line since I was a little kid. And
you must be exhausted.
Really cool. It's really cool.
That's binge watching right there for 30 years.
Well, like I said, we're on to 30 years. And the last time we do it live, of course, we didn't get to go out for about a year and a half. And so we're all excited to be working again. And we've been out on the road now since October. Excuse me. We didn't go out much in January, but now we're super solid. If you go to whoslive.com, you can see our schedule. We're not only are we doing the whole South on this tour, we're going to the Prairie, and we're going to do, Wisconsin and South Dakota and Sioux Falls. Hello. And Minnesota, whatnot. And then, oh my goodness, the rest of the year, I think we have 70 something odd dates, because people always say to us, excuse me, when are you coming to my town? And it's like, well, we're coming.
Exactly.
We're in Canada for a whole month in like May, and then we go to Arizona and whatnot, and then New York at the end of the year, which I'm real excited about. We're going to play New York City again, which will be super fun for us. And then we go to upstate New York. So, and then I'll go to London and do Nightmare in December. So we are playing London again for Christmas time with Nightmares.
See, I'm thinking that you should also, in addition to everything else you do, become a professional travel blogger, because you're getting to go to all these cities for free. You can find something at least for an hour to do to blog about, because you're talking about getting more free trips there. I mean, it's not free. You have to work.
Well, I love travel. That was the thing that, excuse me, really bummed me out. Obviously, the terror and the tragedy of the plague, but we were really getting around town, my wife and I, before we couldn't go anymore. And so, in the last few years, we've been to we went to India and did a gig. Me and Jeff did some improv there, and Bermuda and Tokyo, whatnot. So I love travel. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So I was sat at home for 2 years, and all I did was cry.
Yeah, we did too. We had a few, because obviously the station built us both home studios, and we had moments on our podcast that need to be just like buried forever, because it went from having fun and all this other stuff to everything that we're going to bitch about for the day.
Yeah.
At one point,
I did have a baby. So
yeah, she had a COVID baby.
Yeah, I had a baby during the plague.
Oh my goodness. How'd you do that?
I know.
We can draw you pictures.
Yeah.
How brave of you. Congratulations.
So
that's my little man that was watching Bob the Builder yesterday. He's a big boy now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody at the station, we went out for COVID, and she just had like hit the 3-month pregnancy mark and had not told anybody. And then it's like anytime everybody kept getting on the web meetings, it's like she would grow, but everybody was so polite and not say anything.
Right.
And then one day she just popped up on one of the company-wide web meetings holding a baby, and people were like texting me, "Whose baby does Elyse have?" I'm like,
you went and bought one.
Yeah, she bought one, because you can just get outside and just go do that these days.
Right.
Yeah, that's my souvenir.
You got to borrow one, as we say in the South.
Borrow? Can I borrow your baby? But yeah, so we are so excited, Greg, for you and the whole troupe to be here, and we can't wait to see what you bring to Spartanburg. We know you're so excited to bring it tonight to Asheville, and
we are. And we've never been to Spartanburg before. I don't know that we've been to Asheville before, for that matter. Also, I think we're playing Charleston and Raleigh. I've been to Raleigh many, many times. Raleigh, when it was super quiet before it was the giant sort of skyscraper place that it is now. I remember when there was like a rental car lot in the middle of town next to the Capitol building, and all these towns have grown so much.
But you'll notice a different vibe in Asheville versus Charlotte versus Spartanburg, and definitely versus Charleston. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Asheville is it's more of a hippie vibe, and I love Asheville.
Yeah.
I love Asheville.
The university thing, and there's coffee shops and vaping and whatnot.
Oh yeah, and going shirtless for men or women is okay in Asheville too.
Okay, all right, not today, but yes, in general, it's pouring rain today, so
maybe
I was looking out the window, by the way, in case you were wondering why I turned. I have a window.
I thought you just like the wall better than us. It's okay.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I love the South. I told my wife my job is to not gain 35 pounds because I love biscuits.
Yeah, you were in biscuit and gravy territory.
Oh,
You're in deep. You're in deep doo-doo. I'm sorry.
I'll eat biscuits like 18 times a day if given the chance. So,
and yet you still have energy. How is that? I eat
I
one.
mean, I have no idea how I do it. It must be magic. And also, the whole group goes crazy anytime there's fried green tomatoes. So I think we're getting them tomorrow night. So we're pretty excited about that.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Well, you're going to get everything that you love. You're getting free travel, some food. And, yeah. So tell your wife, just, you may have to have the pants adjusted when you come home. So.
Right? Yeah. I'm going to have to wear a circus tent to perform in.
It'll be fine. Just work it in.
Right.
Work it in. It'll be fine.
Work it in. You could build a whole thing around it and be like, all right, you know what, you guys, I got the show. Just go sit down for a little bit. I got it. So many jokes. Actually, my grandfather used to refer to, never mind, the old boxers as circus tents. It's so bad what my mind thinks up. Anyway, enjoy that. Enjoy that visual. I'm talking about the old, cotton, old time striped boxers. So anyway.
Sure. I'm wearing one right now. You just can't see it.
So no pajamas, dress nice, be ready to have a great time, be ready to get pulled on stage and laugh yourself silly. And of course, cry if you want.
Right. Where are we playing in Spartanburg? We're at the Memorial
Auditorium.
My understanding is it's an old-fashioned.
Recently, within the past 10 years, but they kept the plush velvet seats and that just kind of real theater feel to it. So it's a beautiful area.
For the old theaters, because they often have statues and beautiful prosceniums, and sometimes the ceiling's all inlaid and whatnot. The new places are nice, and the sound's better, but they don't have the charm of the old places. I really, some of the old theaters, you could just kill yourself downstairs because the ceilings are so low and there's pipes everywhere. And we have a couple members of the cast that are way tall. Ryan's really tall and Jeff's really tall. And so they're always banging their head on things. And I quite enjoy that.
That could be the show. Just take a little video camera downstairs.
Right. I'm the short one in the group and I'm 6 feet tall. So, I'm like the midget. The rest of them are all gigantic. So
wow, my goodness. So I'm so excited. You're gonna love Spartanburg. It's a beautiful area, and that's a beautiful place to play. And so we're so excited to see you there. And of course, Elyse, no pajamas. You cannot wear pajamas to this show.
I mean, I'm wearing them right now, but I won't to the show.
You're home now. People dress up more in the South, I think, than they do in California. People in California show up in, flip-flops for anything. And I find that in the South, especially on Sunday, people really dress up in lots of colors. And I appreciate that. I like manners and I like dressing up. So I get along quite well here.
Because you were raised by a Southern proper mama.
That's right.
We are so excited, Greg. Thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful. We could talk to you forever, but you have things to do. You have biscuits to go find and eat.
No kidding.
You have to go explore Asheville to find out if what we told you was true.
Right. See if there's topless people running around everywhere.
Topless people vaping or smoking it up.
I can see it from my window right now.
Nice. That's
Thank you, guys.
Imagine a face-to-face view. Thank you so much, Greg. We appreciate it, and we look forward to the show. Thank you for your time.
Bye, darling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
An Odyssey station.